YouTube, it's Erin, and I know I've said this before, but it's been a little while since I've updated, and there's a lot of reasons for that, and I will get into those in this video. But today I am officially 36 weeks pregnant, and that means that I have one more week until I get my induction date, and he'll be delivered sometime in week 38 is what my doctor is thinking right now, which means that he will be here in 2 weeks from now, which is crazy to think about. For those of you that might be new to my channel, my name is Erin, as I said, and this is my second pregnancy, second baby, 10th pregnancy. So my daughter Willow is 10, almost 11, and yeah, so it's been a little while since we've been back in this position of thinking about bringing a baby into the world. And I just walked up the stairs. So naturally, I'm very out of breath. This is just par for the course right now. I don't want today's video to be, a whine fest or anything like that. Although, if I wanted it to be, it is warranted. This is hard work, being pregnant. So, but I also really don't want, I talked about this in my last video, like the challenge for me being, having gone through the journey that we've gone through, and, we've had 8 miscarriages in between Willow and now, and that has meant that obviously I have had a lot of time to really want this, to really want to be pregnant, to really want to be able to have a successful pregnancy, and this is happening. Like this is all happening. And at the same time, this pregnancy has been so different than my pregnancy with Willow, and it's been so much harder. Every aspect of it has been harder, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of it has been a lot harder. And I can't quite put my finger on why that is. I don't know if it's because because of our journey and it taking a really long time to get here. I'm not sure if part of it is I still have a bit of dissociation from, not dissociation, but like, I almost like a feeling of not wanting to get my hopes up. And as a result, I still feel like I'm shielding myself a little bit from, really fully embracing and leaning into all of the joy that should come along with pregnancy. And I think because of our past and because of all of the losses that we've had, that's been really challenging. Like I started off in this pregnancy, very nervous and very shielded and guarded. And I don't know that that has come down fully. Like I'm not sure if I've actually let my walls come down, and as a result I do find that at times my mental health can be affected by that because I don't necessarily have the joy to lean into. I'm still very nervous and cautious and making decisions based on just trying to keep this little guy safe and bring him into the world. So I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is that I'm having a lot of, and I feel so like, I feel it's really hard to talk about this part because I know that there's a lot of folks out there who will look at me and say, like, you have nothing to worry about. What are you talking about? You're pregnant. This is normal, blah, blah, blah. But in the last couple of weeks, my whole body has changed. My face, I'm starting to get very swollen, very normal, obviously. But my face is swollen, my body is swollen, my body shape has changed, my body's abilities have changed. I'm physically limited in my mobility. I have a lot of pain in my pelvic region, my tailbone. I'm even having a lot of rib pain. It's really strange. I didn't have this with Willow, but I get, if I sleep all night and wake up, I get a very sharp pain, more in my center of my ribs and then under my left breast. And so I just have a lot of pain and my body has changed, and I'm struggling a lot with that. And I'm beating myself up a ton about it because when I got pregnant with the baby, I was going to say his name. I don't want to tell you his name yet. But when I got pregnant with this baby, you know, because of like our history, in many ways, I just stopped doing everything. I was too nervous. I didn't want anything to be a cause of another miscarriage. And so that meant that I stopped, you know, hiking, I stopped running, I stopped biking, I stopped doing all of the things that for many women, they keep doing, you know, during like into their pregnancy. And I just stopped all of it. I was way too nervous, and I therefore let a lot of my physicality slip, and I did not realize how hard that would be long term. Short term, it was definitely like what I needed to do in the moment to feel comfortable from a mental perspective. But long term, I think that played a really big part in my body feeling how it feels today. So beating myself up a bit over that because, of course, I have hindsight now. You know, we're further along into this pregnancy and he has survived. And so it's easy for me to say that now, but in the moment it was really, really challenging to even think about pushing myself even a little. And so I just didn't. And then combine that with like the first trimester nausea and like really feeling just awful all around. It meant that I like pretty much just sat on the couch for 3 to 4 months, you know, doing really not much at all. So that's all caught up to me right at the end of, you know, pregnancy, where you're already feeling really tired and sore and everything else, and then just add in some of these other complications or complexities, and it's just, been a little bit challenging. And so I do find my mental health is a bit affected. I think that's partially why it's been really hard to even do videos, because I've been feeling that way, and because I don't have that joy to necessarily still lean into. And of course, I'm getting emotional talking about it, but because I just still feel a little bit guarded, it's a lot harder to show up on these videos. And I know I've talked about this part before, but I also never want to seem ungrateful, because this is a miracle. The fact that we're here, this is going to be the hard. And of course, Willow's peeking in. Love you. But yeah, so I think, you know, just given our journey and the fact that this is like such a miracle for us to even be going through, I wrestle with that all the time when I'm thinking about, you know, how bad I feel, or when I am feeling like this pregnancy isn't as easy as maybe my pregnancy with Willow. And I also know that when people watch these videos, if they've had a journey of their own through infertility, I never want them to look at me and think, you know, you should just be sucking this up. You should be grateful, like you are pregnant. You are moving through a healthy pregnancy. And I know all of those things, but it doesn't make the hard parts any less hard. It just makes it harder for me to show up here, because I never want anyone to misconstrue what I'm trying to say or my experience and think I'm anything less than grateful. So that's been challenging. So all that to say, I really wish that I had been able to make weekly vlogs and, you know, like I did with Willow, and show up every week. I think the last challenge I'm going to talk about is also just like the fact that, you know, I've been pregnant obviously all through COVID, and COVID has meant that I haven't been seeing my friends or family as much. You know, given that it's a second baby, like we're not doing some of the same rituals that we would have done in the first. So there's just like certain things that just feel a little absent from this pregnancy. And that's challenging. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know there's a lot of people that are going through their COVID pregnancies that are, you know, in the same boat. And yeah, I think it can just like, you know, I can't bring Jason and Willow to a lot of appointments and things, and so it's just been weird. So all that to say, that's why I haven't shown up as much on here week to week, but I do have I've got a lot of videos filmed. I just need to like edit them. But again, because I've been kind of struggling with a little bit of, you know, my mental health and physical health, it's been just a little harder for me to do that. On the other side of all of it, I've also been wrapping up a lot of my business work. So for those of you that don't know, I'm also a marketing consultant, and I work with clients across, basically all across Canada, but essentially I'm wrapping up a lot of my projects with them right now. And then my maternity plans are to take about 6 to 8 weeks at minimum off, and then reevaluate where I am at that stage, and then if I feel like I want to go back to work and pick up a couple projects or whatever the case might be. I've got clients that are amazing, and they want me to come back as soon as I'm able, so that's awesome. And yeah, we'll just pick it back up whenever I feel like it. Jason's also taking 8 weeks off right when the baby is born, and then he's going to take parental next year, because in Canada we get quite a bit of time, and I don't have parental benefits with my work since I'm self-employed, so he'll take some time off with us and the baby, so that'll be so nice. Okay, so I do have an appointment, an OB appointment tomorrow, and I have to get my group strep B test done. Yeah, it was funny, my doctor said to me at my last appointment, she's like, do you remember we have to do the swab thing around this time? And I was like, I don't remember at all. I do not remember getting this swab with Willow. However, I've got to do that tomorrow, so that I guess they can test me for strep B, and then if I have it, treat it before the baby's delivery. I am also hoping, though, that I can convince her to give me my induction date tomorrow. I've been asking every week, well, not every week, but every 2 weeks when I go. She hasn't picked a date with me yet. She said that we would do it in week 37, but I'm really hoping maybe she lets us do that tomorrow, because that would be really nice to kind of know when he's coming. And we packed our hospital bags, so we're all set. They've been like ready on the main floor just in case, so we're all set there. I do have that video that I will be posting this week, because it's already done. I just need to edit it. So I have that. I'm currently looking for a birth photographer, because I didn't have one with Willow, and given our circumstances and the fact that it took us so long to get here, I do want to capture all of those moments, and the hospital just lifted restrictions recently on having a second support person in the room. So your second support person could be a photographer as well. So I'll keep you posted if I can find someone to do that. And yeah, so in terms of symptoms, I just dropped my paper. In terms of symptoms and the baby and everything, so I've been pretty fortunate, other than the physical symptoms, so like a lot of pelvic, tailbone, vaginal pain, like just like, oh my gosh, I feel like his entire head now is like resting on my vagina. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like he's just like right there, and when he's asleep I feel like he's even heavier. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but like it feels that way, and so it feels like a bowling ball right now on my vagina. So that tells me, like, obviously he's in the right position, and my OB told me at my last appointment that he is indeed head down and he's ready to go. He typically, I know you won't be able to see this, I'll show you when I stand up. Anyway, so he typically is head down and then wraps up my left side, like his body, his back and his bum, and then his feet are almost always on my right side. Like they're always kicking and scraping across my body. And then he'll sometimes also push up into my like rib cage area. So he's been in that position for a very long time. I think I felt him twice moving his feet on the other side, but like that is it for my entire pregnancy. I feel like this kid just got into a spot and was like, this is my spot. I will stay here forever. Symptoms, he's like, I don't actually have a lot of symptoms anymore. I mean, actually that's not true. That's not true. Breathlessness is like been my constant symptom. But I do have a new symptom in the third trimester, which is like, and it's just the last like 2 to 3 weeks, but like nothing is appetizing from a food perspective. I don't feel like eating most of the time because I think it's just like, you know, everything is so big and like, or like pushed up and full. I am eating, don't worry, but I just like nothing tastes like sounds appetizing. So if Jason's like about to cook dinner, which thankfully I'm so blessed, he makes almost every dinner, whatever he's cooking, I'm like, oh God, that sounds terrible. And then once it's cooked and like I start eating it, like, excuse me, usually I'm okay at that point, but like nothing, it's just everything right now. I have a hard time figuring out what I want to eat. So that's a new-ish symptom. I wasn't as thirsty for a little bit of time, but I found my thirst is coming back, which is probably why I'm getting so swollen, because I'm just like fluiding it up at the moment. My feet, you should see my swelling, everything, my feet, everything. Other symptoms, sleeping is like so challenging. I'm just like, you should see it now. I have my pregnancy pillow. I've got 2 other pillows behind me, and like, I think I've just figured out the last 2 nights, like with this like new setup with all of the pillows, a way to be somewhat comfortable, but I don't find sleeping on my side comfortable. He's so heavy and like he just weights everything down on the left side. And then anyway, so we ordered a recliner. I mean, I have like this chair, but it's not a reclining chair, it's just a rocker. But we actually ordered a full reclining lazy boy love seat with 2 recliners and a console. Like, it's so fancy. So it's gonna be here, funny enough, it's supposed to be here this same week. He is. So that's gonna be interesting. But we also bought a reclining chair that will be here sooner. So I might end up just sleeping in that for the last week because I'm just like having a hard time. And I'm usually up at like the crack of dawn every day because I can't sleep like that long. I started lactating, or like at least leaking, probably, you know, colostrum or whatever the case might be, just out of my left breast, weirdly, not both. Like the other day, my left breast was just like really leaking, like a lot. It was everywhere. My right breast, though, I haven't seen it leak like that yet. So we'll see. When I had Willow, my right breast was like the power boob. So we'll see if that's at least I think it was from my memory. That could be wrong. Maybe I'll have to go back and look that up as well. But anyway, it's just interesting to see the differences. I'm also getting a lot of prodromal labor, or like early labor. So I'm getting, of course I get Braxton Hicks as well, but I am noticing that there's certain times, especially if, let's say, I've let my water consumption slide, that I actually go through a period of time where I have very regular contractions, and I was actually timing them the other morning, and they were frequent enough and close enough together and long enough that the app actually was like, it's time to go to the hospital. But I knew I wasn't in real labor because I didn't have any back pain. My water hadn't broke. Like, I had no other signs of it. It was just the contractions. And so I asked my doctor about it, and she said that it's very common, especially in the second pregnancy, for you to have a lot of prodromal labor. And of course, she was like, if ever you're really concerned about it, go to the hospital. But it's just my body's way, I guess, of getting ready. And I'm okay with the practice contractions if it's going to make labor easier. I've heard sometimes prodromal labor can help with that. So we'll see. But yeah, otherwise, like, everything is ready. We're ready for him. His room is ready. His bassinet's ready. I've got little nursing stations around the house, like baskets with snacks and nursing pads and burp cloths, and we have a little cart on the main floor for that stuff as well. We've got little diaper caddies everywhere. Like, we're ready. Car seats in the car. We're set to go. It's just, now we just have to wait for him. So it's a very exciting time. I am trying to, like I said, lean far forward into the joy, even though it's challenging at times. But yeah, that's 36 weeks. I think it's crazy. So I was about to call it quits and I realized I didn't even show you my belly. So let me do that before I go. Although I cannot find my measuring tape. I looked everywhere and I don't know where it is. So I'm not gonna measure, but trust me when I say he's bigger, the belly is bigger, and I will definitely show you what it looks like. All right, so here is the belly. Look at this. I'll turn to the other side in a moment. Here's the front. Here's the other side. It's nuts to me that this is my belly. Yep, it's the belly. And it's like, I feel like he's so low. Like, it's actually like there's so much pain and pressure like way down here. But that's it. That's what it looks like. Check that out. This big old gargantuan thing. Oh my gosh. Nutso. Anyway, so that's it. Now I'll actually say goodbye and hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.